Doing the sphere is basically the same thing as doing the value scale, but obviously now you're creating form. So I'm going to be using this as my reference. Notice where I have a highlight, where I have the core of the shadow, as well as the cast shadow. My sphere is going to be red. I'm going to be adding white to make it lighter, and I'm going to be adding black to make it darker because I have chosen a monochromatic color scheme for this specific area. There's my value scales already. I'm using rendering modeling. So once again, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to basically put the whole thing red. Looking at my reference image here, I like to start right in the shadow area and the light area. And what I like to do is use a nice circular motion. So it's a little bit more built up right here in the middle. And I lighten as I get towards the highlight area. And this is a circular motion. I'm not using a scribble line. That comes later. I'm going to add a little bit more red down here in the shaded areas and the shadows. I'm just going to build it up just a little bit more. Now I'm going to come in here with my black for the core of the shadow. Notice how it's right in here. So I come in here and I'm going to add some black right in there, almost like a line. Right now I'm going to lighten my pressure, separate the marks a little bit as it starts to get into the reflected light and the cast shadow, because you'll notice it gets a little bit lighter. Then it gets a little bit lighter this way as well. So I lighten up my lines, lighten up my pressure right in here. Now I like to jump into the red right away. Again, coming in here, so that way what I'm doing is I'm darkening as I go and creating as smooth of a transition as possible. So that way if I need to add a little bit more value, I could. I'm applying quite a bit of pressure right now. I strongly suggest that you vary your pressure. You don't necessarily push down really, really hard right away. You want to build up the layers bit by bit. Notice I'm controlling my circular motion as I come in here. Notice that this is looking like a dark red. It's not looking like a black on top of red, but rather a dark red. That's what you're going for. So I'm coming in here. I'm going to bring this up in here. Now I'm going to jump over to my white. My white area here, my highlight is right in here, so that's going to be a lot of white right in this area. And I'm going to bring that out into my light area and fade it into the red. So that way I don't run into the shadow. So yeah. Again, I'm going to clean my pastel. Once it's clean, I'm going to come back in here into my shadow area, also known as just the main color. I'm going to fade that into the light. Get it as smooth as I can. Again, I'm kind of rushing through this so that way you can get to drawing. I'm going to come in here with my highlight again, add a little bit more white. Going to fade it back into what I have. Going with the contour of the object. Right in here. And you can see what I do. This takes time. I'm going through this fairly quickly. If you've never done this before, it should not go as quickly as it does for me. Okay? I'm going pretty fast. Okay. Again, I'm going to clean this up, and I can play with it a little bit more by adding some more red down into here. So you notice that whenever I'm going to move from a highlight to a shadow, I clean off my pastel. I don't want to necessarily desaturate the color by adding gray, because if I take an area with a highlight that has white into a shadow that has black, I'm going to be essentially creating gray inside there, and I want to avoid that. You can see I start to create the sphere. It's not bad. I could smoothen this out a little bit, but you get the idea. Now I need to make sure that I do that down here as well with the cast shadow. Okay. Coming into here. I know you don't have a lot of room for it, but that's fine. You have enough room that you could put something in. Okay? You get the idea. Right? And I keep on blending it in. I don't think necessarily I need to show you every little step of this one, because you get the idea and you're going to learn. Remember, always do the value scale first. You want to do the value scale first because it's giving you practice before you move on to this. So this is simple. This is more complex. Start simple. Learn first. Practice. Then apply. I cannot stress that enough. Do the value scale first, then do the sphere. Practice. Apply. Got it?